Hi there, Frank George here. As a doctor, I know a thing or two about probing. Indeed I do. I love something that's easy to install. Hi there, Frank George here. As a doctor, I know a thing or two about probing. Indeed I do. I love something that's easy to install, easy to use, and backed by a real support team. And that's why I choose TH3D Easy ABL Kit for my 3D printers. I prefer not to waste countless hours trying to figure out how to connect things to my machine when I could be printing instead. With the TH3D Easy ABL, you get technical support, easy to use firmware, quality parts, amazing accuracy, and there's no moving parts. What are you waiting for? Head over to their site at easyabl.th3dstudio.com and get one today. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy printing. The Easy ABL kit is meant for 3D printer usage only, not for medical or rectal use.
What's up, everybody? Sorry about that. I was in the studio mode. I went to change the transition for the video and it switched my source, so that's why the ad got cut off. So anyways, if you guys are wondering why my voice sounds weird, it may or may not, I don't know, sounds different in person. It's because the Rocky Mountain Rep Fest was insane. Basically was talking to people all weekend long for, dear God, like, I don't know, 10 plus hours for the first day, another 8 hours the next day. But it was an awesome event. How many of you guys that are watching right now, I don't know if we're gonna have anybody new, how many guys found out about us through the Rocky Mountain Rep Fest and you're currently watching our streams? I'm curious because we do this every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central Time. If you guys are not aware, if it's your first time, welcome. See all our regulars in the chat here. So I am going to be doing things a little bit differently with the giveaway stuff just because the forums are getting kind of old having to set those up. So we're going to do a giveaway on each stream. So towards the end of the stream, I'm going to go ahead and hit the button on the chat bot here and you'll enter a command and then you will go ahead and be able to enter the giveaway. So we're going to do, instead of, we used to do like $100 gift card, $100 gift card every single month. We're going to do a $20 gift card every single stream. So all right. Yeah. 3DHP, I know this is not your first time here. Yeah, I'm a bit tired. Overall, the event was a great success. Shout out to Justin and Mike. And oh my God, I'm forgetting the It Works guy's name. The three guys. I'm sorry. I have your card in my wallet. I'm trying to remember your name, but I'm terrible with names. But they put on an awesome show. They had, I think he said the total head count was like 36 or 3,700 people for the event over the 2 days. With the majority of those, I say about 2/3 of those people showing up on Saturday. To give you guys a comparison, I don't know Murph's numbers, but I know IRF provided their numbers. IRF's turnout last year was only about 1,300 people in terms of attendees. So over double the size in terms of attendees. So it was a really great show. It was awesome to see everybody. I know I came across a couple of our customers there. It was nice seeing you guys in person and be able to hang out and chat and shoot the shit. It was fun. I had a great time. Krista enjoyed herself as well. And my buddy Bruce was there helping us out with the table. So if you guys met Bruce, he's a buddy that helps me out from time to time. I've known him for, God, like, I'm 34. I've known him since I was like 16 or 17, but he's helped me on and off with the business. He does photography stuff, and he'll also just give us a general hand. He's actually going to be coming by tomorrow to help us put together more printer enclosures because we're scaling up our print farm operations here. So yeah, it was an awesome one. So we're going to be at Murph. We will not be going to IRF. We were kind of on the fence to begin with, but 3 events in 1 year is just a lot. And Murph we're always going to go to just because it's less than 2 hours from us, so it's a no-brainer to go there. I do have a question for you guys before we get into the stream. For you guys that have trucks, I am looking for a cap for my 2013 F-150. It's the short bed, the 5.5 foot bed, because sadly, one of our printers did not make it in the trailer. So that big printer I was working on a couple weeks ago, that I just did all those upgrades and put the control board on, well, All that work I did, she didn't make it in the trip. We had some guy cut us off. I had to brake really hard, and despite it being packed into the trailer pretty well, it just went flying, and it bent the shit out of the frame. So I pulled all the electronics off. I'm going to use that board. Luckily, the board and the whole hot end setup, which was the two most expensive parts on that printer, those are fine. But the frame was just completely screwed up. The rods got bent. I was like, I'm not rebuilding it. It's not worth it. I don't need that big of a build volume. It was cool to have a printer that big, but I never used something that big, and we still have our Chiron out in the print farm. So if I need to print something that big, we still have a printer with that build volume. I think what I am going to do is I'm going to be doing a Mercury 1 build in the next couple weeks here on an Ender 5, and I think that'll be replacing Bertha's spot on my rack. So I got room for 4 printers over here to my left. There's now one there open. So I'll probably use that the Mercury or the MKS Monster 8 board from that build in the Mercury 1 build. So yeah, we talked to a lot of vendors. We are going to be expanding our filament lineup. We met a bunch of different vendors there that are interested in having us sell their filaments. So you guys are going to be seeing even more filaments coming to our shop in the next, I want to say, month or two. We're going to be reaching out to them. So how many of you guys like Polymaker? We were talking to them. They're going to be having us carry their filaments. So we're putting an order together. If you guys have any specific Polymaker colors you guys like, colors and filaments, let us know. Send us a message. You can just use the sales button on our contact page, and we will be sure to get those in. So we checked out their filaments. They print really nice. They look really cool. So let me know. We'll get them into the shop. So their headquarters is based out of Texas, so they can get stuff to us pretty quick here. So we're gonna be looking at coming a Polymaker reseller. Cookie CAD is also another company. They have some really cool like pastels and glitters and some other like co-extrusion where the two colors, like we have our own, but they have stuff that we don't carry as well. So we're looking at getting more filaments into the shop as well. And then once I do the Mercury 1 build, we are going to be looking at getting we're planning on getting the Mercury 1 kits into our shop. Full kits, printed parts, hardware kits. Whether we're going to be sourcing the parts ourselves or we're going to be getting the hardware kits from Fabrico. Either way, we're looking at being a spot where you can get the Mercury 1 setups from. And if you guys are not familiar with the Mercury 1s, those are add-ons for the Ender 5 and Ender 5 Plus to convert them into a Core XY. So I'll be doing a build video on there. I luckily have 2 Ender 5s. And we're refreshing our print farm. Those are 2 printers that aren't like the other ones. We have mostly Ender 3 style machines, so we're trying to convert the print farm all over to the same type of machines just for ease of maintenance and G-code slicing. So I'll be doing a build on my own off camera, and then once I have the ropes and the hang of it and all the little caveats figured out for the Mercury 1, I'll be doing a build video with the second one. So I'll have 2 Mercury 1 kits. Yeah. So it was awesome. Met a lot of people. I love going to the events. It's cool. Yeah. So let's see what questions we have. I'm trying to think of what new stuff. I am like still recovering from the event. We drove there, which was about 17, 18 hours. So we did it in 2 days. We did like 9 to 10 hours in one day, and then the rest of the other day we drove. So it was about $700 in gas. We took the truck there. Our neighbors let us borrow their trailer, but it was still cheaper than flying everybody out, and it was also cheaper than shipping everything. And like I said, the only casualty was Bertha on the way back, and I'm glad it happened on the way back and not there. So if you guys saw Bertha printing at our booth, that was the last time she was alive, and their frame is now in the dumpster at our shop here, and the electronics and other parts will live on in another build. All right. So let's get into it. So if you guys are new here, the point of this stream is to ask me questions about your FDM printers. You have to put !Q in the front. Does nobody notice this? You guys have, if you want me to answer your question, you have to put it in front so the bot picks it up. If you guys notice, it will go ahead and reply to you and say thanks with your username that your question has been added to the queue. If you see that, give it a couple seconds. It does pick it up. And then, yeah. Then we will be able to pick up your questions. So they actually show in a separate file here. So that's what I'm looking at. So anyways, let's see. Let's see who the first question is from. And it looks like it's from DZD3N. He said, I think I might know the answer since one is completely closed, but you're pitting on the MK4 versus the Bamboo X1C. Neither of those printers are ones I would buy, me personally. So anything I'm saying on the stream, this is just my personal experience and opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt. That's what I'm just doing here. Yeah, so I wouldn't personally buy either one of those. If I had a gun to my head and said, Tim, you got to buy one of these printers, I'd probably go with the MK4 just because it is an open source machine. The Bamboos, my personal thing is, and this is with any sort of devices that connect to the network, I want to be able to look at the code. I want to know what they're doing on my network, and the Bamboo stuff is very network connected. Yes, you can run it in standalone mode, which is offline, but then you lose all the cool features, like the AI stuff. So at that point, it's like, okay, then it's just a Core XY printer for $1,000. I can buy an Ender 6 for $500 or less. It doesn't really appeal to me. Like the only thing I think I would possibly buy a Bamboo for is if I was really getting into multi-material, because I heard their AMS is really good. But I just don't trust these Chinese companies with their network connected devices on my network. I've got too much confidential stuff here. I don't trust that there's something that could be on there that's nefarious. I'm not saying there is, just to be clear. It's just a general principle I have. I don't like putting stuff like that on my network that I can't qualify. And since their code is closed source, you can't. You'd have to be looking at your network traffic and stuff and seeing what's going on. I've had really bad experiences with certain devices from Chinese origin where they've been backdoored, and I've had somebody connect into an IP camera specifically and using it to scan my network. Because you got to remember, these are computers. Like, just because they're low power, they're still computers. So I don't trust them. Like my IP cameras here, they're all Reolink and Amcrest brand is typically what I use. They're all on their own VLAN with no internet access, and they constantly try to get out to domain names and IP addresses over in China. I don't trust any of that stuff. If those of you guys that don't know, my background was in IT before I started TH3D. I've been doing IT stuff for years now, or over a decade. I'm 34, so I've been doing it since I was like 16, 17 years old. Started out doing desktops and then moved to servers and networking. And finally, my last IT job, I was a IT manager for a trucking company in Illinois with multiple sites. So I try to be very conscious of my security protocols and stuff. Yeah, so I just don't trust it. They could be great printers. I just won't on principle buy them just because I don't want to risk having something on my network that I don't know exactly what it's doing. That's one of the reasons why all my smart home stuff is all local controlled. I don't buy stuff that I can't have local on my network and have control over that. And even then, those are also on their separate VLAN, separate from my computers and stuff. So, all right. Yeah, so if I had to choose one, if my only two options were a Prusa MK4 or Bamboo X1Z, I'd probably pick the Prusa, to be honest. Just because it's not going to be reliant on any of the cloud crap. So that's just my opinion there. So, all right. The next question we have here is from Tor. How did those fancy Mercury One enclosures look? Dutch yelled at me in another stream for not coming. Yeah, you need to come out to events. Hopefully, I think, so Tor, I'm going to say this right now. So in our meeting today, Tor said that he would come out to the next Rocky Mountain one next year. So I want everybody to hold him to this, that he's going to come out to the next one. So pending no family emergencies or anything, hopefully we can make it happen. I'm gonna drag him to an event kicking and screaming if I have to. So, but the Mercury One, I saw a build there with the new enclosures. They looked really slick. I really liked them. So yeah. Jerry from 3DHP said, comparing all three events, which was the best? Seeing Ramurf was their first year. So for their first year, if you guys didn't know that, if I didn't know this was a first year event, I would have not known. Like, it was very well organized. It was very well put together. The turnout was amazing. I'm gonna be biased towards Murph. It was the first event I've ever gone to. It's been the first, Rep Festival. It's the longest running one out of all of them. If I had to rank them, I would say Murph, Raw Murph, and then Urf. None of them are bad. It's just personal preference. So like if Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival was anything like it was this year, next year, which I assume is going to be even bigger, it's going to be great. I wouldn't be surprised if in a couple years, if the Rocky Mountain one is the biggest one. I don't know what Murph's numbers are. I have no idea. So that's the other thing. But yeah, it was great. Also got to hang out with Zach from Voidstar Labs on Sunday night. That was fun. We had him and his wife, and then Caleb and his wife Sarah. I can't remember Zach's wife's name. And then Jim from the Edge Attack and Krista and Matt Farmer. But we were I know I'm forgetting something. And Zach Mon. We were all hanging out at the hotel till like, I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, playing Cards Against Humanity together. That was a lot of fun. So it was fun. So if you guys haven't been to events, a lot of the events are great. The thing I really look forward to is after the events, everybody, people kind of hang out and, go get food together, hang out, have some drinks. Like that's also one of the big highlights of these events is that, hanging out time. Yeah, it's cool. You hang out with a bunch of nerds and talk about nerd stuff. It's amazing. So, Neil Pride said thoughts on the Creality K1. So I just saw their email. I'm gonna wait and see because they're all renders. They have no pictures of the real printer. From what I've seen on their marketing materials, it's all renders. It's easy to make a pretty printer, and render pictures of it, which is what we have. We'll see. I'm not holding my breath. We'll see. We know how Creality is. They make stuff that looks pretty on paper, and then the printer shows up and it's usually a hot mess. So something like that is a little ambitious. We'll see. I know they're trying to go after the bamboo market. So we'll see if they actually pull it off. You know what I mean? All right. Redline's asking for the SVO6 Plus, can I just change out the screen and build size and use the Easy Board? You might be able to. We have the SVO6 is literally on the other side of that door. I'm going to try to do that printer stream this weekend, unless I don't think we have anything going on. So before I put my foot in my mouth, if I don't have any plans, I want to do it this weekend, but the Easy Board going into there, and apparently the power supplies on those are having issues, so I'll be looking into getting a fix for that as well. But my plan was to get the Easy Board supported on there as well. I also have a ticket from somebody who was asking about the Big Tree Tech SKR E3 Mini V3. If we can get the SVO6 supported in there. I don't know if we will. I think the E3 Mini V3 has support for sensorless homing. But that would require me to take Krista's printer and mess with it again, which I'm not sure. We'll find out. But yeah, the SVO6 Plus, I'm planning on getting official Easy Board V2 support in there. So we'll see what happens with that. I got to get out of there. I don't like saying stuff will work for sure, without actually testing it. That's not how we do stuff. So, the next question is from One It Print It. Yeah, guys, there is a cooldown on the questions. It's 1 per minute, so it doesn't get flooded. I mean, I can probably, let me see if I can ease that up. Hang on, let me edit the chat bot here. Let's see. Hang on 1 second. Where is the cooldown? Cooldown. Oh, it's 1 minute or 0. All right, well, guys, don't abuse it. I just removed the cooldown. So let's see if that works. All right. So next question is from Want It Print It, and he said, would you recommend the 8mm Easy ABL for the Ender 2? I mean, for the Ender 2, or I'm assuming you mean 2 Pro. The Ender 2s, those haven't been sold in a while, but I mean, we do also support the Ender 2, the original one. So if you're looking for it to be like super compact, we do have a micro mount specific to that, and that's what Chris is running on her 2 Pro. It is a nice, cleaner look because it is a smaller sensor. Either one works on it. The 8mm is a little more expensive, but me personally, on the smaller printers, I typically like throwing the smaller sensors on there just because it's a little more compact. Gives it a little cleaner look. What is going on with the bot? It just spammed like multiple questions, and did they break something in an update? Hang on, I am reloading the bot here. It is not playing nicely here. Hang on 1 second. What is going on? Hang on. I'm cleaning up the questions manually. Gotta love software. Why is everybody asking about the K1? We just answered stuff about the K1. So I'm gonna get rid of those questions for the K1. The K1, I would wait and see once we see some videos on it. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I would recommend. Just wait and see after there's some feedback. The bot should be back on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. So yeah, K1, I would wait. Deadbrick says, regarding the Soval SEO6, the uneven printing from left to right, what would you do if you're going through all the steps to try and fix it? Would Clipper help? Clipper is not going to do anything. Clipper's going to make it more complicated. If you're having it printing uneven from left to right, it's because your gantry is not level. You need to level your printer gantry, and you need to level it with the printer's frame and not the bed. So when you have a bed leveling sensor on there, that printer has a stock bed leveling sensor. This is assuming the sensor is working. I personally did not have issues with mine. I didn't have much time on it. But other people did say they had issues with their stock sensor. I have our Easy ABL on ours now, and it's been great. We have no issues. But typically, and this is any printer with auto bed leveling, if you are getting a bed result where it's higher on the left and lower on the right, no matter what you do, that means your gantry itself is off. You need to make sure your gantry is level with the printer's frame. So, give me one sec. The dogs are doing loud noises behind me. Hang on. Remo's trying to take Comet's bone from him. Even though there's like 4 other bones over here. Go lay down. Lay down. You're going to lay right next to Remo. He's going to try to take your... You're going to try to take your bone again. We don't learn, do we? Anyways, Peter said, the new mother... it's doing this weird thing where it converts it to the things it's a name. It's like a string of text. I'll show you guys. This is when I get confused and I don't know what it's meaning. Do you guys see this? Like, this is what I see. This is a word. I think it's like what or is the... I have no idea. YouTube does weird stuff. So anyways, I'm assuming you mean what new motherboard you're selling able to do gantry leveling, providing you a separate controller for the Z-axis steppers. So yeah, the MKS Monster 8 V2, we have those in our shop. That's what's in... That's the board I used on the Bertha build that is going to be reused. So here, this is one I actually used for the product photo. So this is the Monster 8. Tons of input and output. You have 8 stepper drivers on here. This actually has the little 3MOS module on here, which we also sell. This converts, and this works with any board that has socketed steppers, and you have an extra one. It gives you 3 fan outputs, so which are cool. It basically uses the enable, step, and direction pin and turns them into MOSFET outputs. So yeah, we have those. They're in stock. They're in our store. We physically have them here. They're not getting drop shipped from anywhere, so we can get them. You can get them quicker. And it's like, I think it's like 89 bucks for the whole set, and that comes with 8 2209 drivers with the heat sinks and jumpers. I can't remember if it was 80 or 80 or 8 or 79.99 or 89.99. I think it's 89.99. Let me double check. Sorry, 84.99. So 85 bucks. And I'll post that link in the chat. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a good board that is going to be more reliable than the Big Tree Tech stuff, I'm a fan of the MKS stuff just because they make a better, affordable board. And the thing is, if you guys buy it from us, you're going to be dealing with our tech support. You're not going to be dealing with Chinese tech support. So if you guys buy that from us, the tech support and our DIY firmware is included. For you guys that like Clipper, Clipper does run on the MKS Monster 8 as well. So Neil Pryor said, I've got an Ender 5 Plus EasyBoard V2. Should I upgrade to the MKS Monster 8 V2 for the G34 auto level? Me personally, I don't think the amount of work that would be required to make that board fit into the printer is worth it just to get the G34 auto level. If you want to, yes, that board can go in there, but you're going to have to make a custom mount to mount it up into the stock board location. You're going to need to take a Dremel to the side of the metal enclosure and cut that out so you can actually fit the ports to fit through. So your USB-C, your USB, and the SD, because these are not going to line up. None of these screw holes. So you'll have to have a printed bracket, which you'd have to design. We do not have one. MKS doesn't have one. There might be some on Thingiverse to convert this to fit. But this is a DIY board, meaning this is something where you're going to be putting this in a printer and making it hook up and physically fit. This is meant to drop in anything and make it run. But that means it's not going to be a drop-in replacement. The difference between boards like this and our Easy Board is the Easy Board is meant to be a simple drop it in place of the stock board replacement for certain models. So yeah, I personally don't think having the G34 auto level is worth going through all that trouble. If you do, you can switch it out. I'm still running the Easy Board in my Ender 5. I find that printer doesn't get the bed out of whack, so it's not a huge deal for me, just because I don't have issues with it. Just because that bed is so big, it doesn't tend to get out of skew like some of the other printers do. So, all right, let's see. Dominic says ET on the for the Mercury One pre-orders be available. We will not be doing. I'm not gonna say will not. We probably are not gonna do pre-orders, but we are probably a couple months out on that because I want to build it myself, test it. Tor and Peter have been testing it and they love it. I want to obviously, like with everything else we sell, I want to personally test it and make sure I like the kit. And if there's any caveats, I want to document and have a TH3D documentation for how to build it. I don't want to be like some of the other vendors where they sell it and then you got to go to a Discord server for help. Like we're actually going to be doing tech support. I was actually talking over and trying to figure out, all these companies are selling like the Voron kits and the Mercury One kits. They aren't actually doing technical support on these kits. If you need help, you need to go to their Discord server for whatever those kits are, the Voron kits or the Mercury One kits, and you're getting help from the community. The company, and this is fine. It's not how I like to run my business, but they will get involved if, like, let's say a part's bad, they'll replace the part. But in terms of like technical support with actually helping build the printer, they don't give you guys that support. And I want to be able to do that for our customers because that's what we do. I don't like selling stuff and then pushing you off onto the community to get help with the product I sold you. It's just not how I do business. So that means we will be a little bit more expensive on our parts kits when we do come out with them. But you will be getting the assistance if, hey, I can't figure out how to do this or I'm having issues, we'll actually be able to troubleshoot instead of having to rely on a random Discord server for help with a product you bought. So that's just what our plans are. So that means we'll have our own build guides. Do a video on how to put it together, have a text document on text document with pictures in our help center on how to actually build the printer. I don't like relying on other people's stuff for supporting our customers. It's just not how we do things. So let's see. Lossing said, RIP Bertha. I'll pour one out for Bertha. Can't wait to see the Mercury 1.1 build. He said also the Soval SVO5 can be converted. That we're talking about that, and that's good to know. Because the SVO5 is similar to the Ender 5. The other thing would be like stage 2. So our plans are to get the Mercury 1 out and start selling that. That's the upgrade kit for the Ender 5 and the 5 Plus. And then like we actually already have Tor's already designed a frame to use to use instead of an Ender 5. So let's say you don't have an Ender 5, you don't want to buy an Ender 5. We're going to have our own frame that basically, we haven't decided what we're calling it, but basically the frame that we design plus the electronics and the other hardware for the printer plus the Mercury One for the motion components will be a whole kit printer. So something, to go against the Voron, we have our own Z system that we built and designed as well. And we're going to just do a simple two motor Z setup because the 3 points, it's cool, but it's overkill. So like we're keeping it simple. So the goal is to get the Mercury One stuff out, get that well documented, and then come out where you can get the Mercury One kit plus our frame kit plus the electronics, whether that's an Easy Board or the MKS Monster 8 plus whatever extruder setup you want, hot end setup. So basically have a whole kit printer. So my goal is by the end of the year, us having our own printer that is built around the Mercury motion system, if that makes sense. So yeah. All right. The next question here is from Andrew. He said, is it possible to set up the TH3DOS for Delta without learning programming? Because the hobby maker, I like a 3D printer like i3 and Delta. I have your V2 board and I love it. So I will never do stuff with Delta printers. They are such a pain. They're such a pain. I've had multiple over the years. I've owned 3 different ones. One was like one of the first videos on this channel was that Anycubic one, and it worked all right. They're just kind of a pain, and they don't give you a lot of build volume. If I want to do something that's going to print fast, I'm going to go with a Core XY. They're just very finicky, and the firmware we have is not set up for Deltas. Not saying it couldn't be, but you should just be using standard Marlin then if you're going to be messing around with a Delta. So, because that's the back end of all our firmware. Unified 2 firmware is Marlin on the back end. So, Unified 2 firmware, like there's some customization stuff I made to the code, changing menu items, bug fixes, etc. But at its core, it's still Marlin underneath, you know, our Unified 2 interface where you set it up. I don't know if it's called interface, but our Unified 2 style config. But yeah, let's see. The next one is Gregory, and he said, is there any firmware changes needed from going from the OEM inductive probe to a BL Touch on SVO6 using the same plug on the breakout board as the stock probe? I would assume, yes, you're going to need to make changes because the BL Touch needs other stuff, but in terms of setting the firmware up for that 5-pin plug, I do believe passes right through to that header. I have not tested that. We don't sell the BL Touches, so we aren't going to be testing that. And plus, that little header is really hard to find plugs for. It's I don't even know what type of JST plug that is. I believe it's a JST style plug. I think it's a like 1.5 millimeter pin pitch. You would be better off just running a separate cable back to the board for the BL Touch. That's what I would do if you were putting a BL Touch on there. We have our Easy ABL on there. So. All right, Ben Howard said, did you ever do a firmware upgrade for the SVO3? We did. So we have the firmware for the stock board for the SVO3, and we also have our EasyBoard V2, and I think the V1, if memory serves correctly, has an older printer. We have firmware out for that, and all of our firmware has settings for the BL Touch if you guys want to use BL Touch. If you do want an auto bed leveling probe that you can actually get technical support with, because the BL Touch, you're probably not going to get technical support with it, depending on the vendor you buy from. I'm not going to say you're never going to get it, because some vendors might provide support with it, but in general, the BL Touch, you're not going to get any technical support. So if you are wanting technical support and you might need help with setting up the firmware or anything, I would definitely recommend looking at getting our Easy ABL over the BL Touch. Also, if you're using our firmware, you can also pay us for support. We do have 2 different support options where if you just want a support ticket, it's a $25 per incident charge. So that one ticket would be an incident. And then if you want, like, you know, where we have a video call and a phone call, usually we like doing video calls so we can actually see what you're doing. We do have that available. It's $50 for the first hour and $25 an hour after that. So we can help with other people's stuff. It's just we have to charge for it. All right, JDCCC26 on the Monster 8 motherboard. Is it worth using their Wi-Fi adapter? I don't think so. I did try it. I wasn't impressed with it. It's basically just an ESP with some custom firmware. We aren't selling the Wi-Fi adapter because I don't think that they're really worth it. They're very limited. It's a neat idea, but they're, you know, once you're used to something like Octoprint, it's very, very limited. Can't remember the name of the firmware. There's an ESP 3D printer firmware that goes on those, but it wasn't cool enough or fast enough. Like, the main thing was it was really slow. I wasn't a big fan of it. So Telly Lear says, do you do anything for the BQ BX? We do not. I don't really have any interest in doing stuff for BQ. BQ, just so you guys know, Big Tree Tech has other sub brands. BQ, BIQU, or just B in the letter Q. That's Big Tree Tech, and they also have another brand that they started making some Voron parts, which also have tons of quality issues, called Chaotic Labs. So if you guys have seen Chaotic Labs coming up in the Voron communities, Chaotic Labs is just a different brand of Big Tree Tech. So, so shocker when I found out that the tap, the Voron tap, they screwed up the metal version of the Voron tap because they used the wrong size rail, because they were being cheap asses. So surprise, shocker. Peter Anderson says, but does the Easy firmware support Gantry 11 on the MKS board? So Guys, so I want to make this clear. So Easy Firmware is a website. The Easy Firmware website is only for our Easy boards. We do not have any other boards on there because the problem is if we open up the boards that are not ours, it can easily get swamped with people who aren't customers compiling code for other boards. So in order to limit that, we just have it for our boards. But in terms of our Unified 2 firmware, if you guys get the MKS Monster 8 from us, that comes with our Unified 2 DIY firmware for the Monster 8 V2, and that does support gantry leveling. And all you have to do to enable gantry leveling is have the dual Z motor set up, so 2 separate motors, and you have to have an auto bed leveling probe, whether that's our Easy ABL or a BL Touch / CR Touch. So if the firmware detects that you have an auto bed leveling probe enabled, and you also have dual Z enabled, in terms of dual Z drivers, so meaning you have 2 Z motors, each one is independently hooked up to each driver, it will automatically enable G34. You don't have to use it, but it'll be there and it'll be enabled. So I guess this moves on into the next thing. Dirty Sense, why are you so angry on BTT? What do I not like about them? Typically, their products have a lot of issues. The quality is really poor. I have purchased about 15 different Big Tree Tech boards over the years, and 70+% of them have been dead on arrival or had partial issues. Their quality control is crap. The other thing is too, not only is their quality bad, but their customer service is horrible. Like they're worse than Creality, which is pretty hard to do. So that's why we don't sell their stuff. Mainly because, if we were selling their stuff, the customer service wouldn't really matter because you guys would be dealing with us. But as a business where I sell stuff and we actually stand behind our products warranties, I don't want to be on the hook for these boards that are known to have reliability issues and quality issues where they just die randomly, because then I'm going to be losing a lot of money replacing boards that are dying, if that makes sense. So that's why we have our own board. Even Creality makes better quality boards than Big Tree Tech. They might not have as many features or as many, boxes to check off, but Creality does make decent boards for the price, where I'm comfortable enough selling them. Whereas Big Tree Tech, that's a huge risk for us to take because they're known to have bad quality. So there's a reason they're cheap. You get what you pay for. Let's see. The Sansa says, and we got about 15 minutes left, so you guys have some more questions. I got time for a couple more questions. You guys want to throw them in the chat, so put the exclamation point Q in there, and the bot will pick them up, and then we'll do the giveaway before we wrap up. Santa says, can the Troncy X5SA be converted to a Mercury 1? I'm going to say probably not. That printer is already a Core XY. I'm trying to think of the X5SA. You might be able to make it work, but it's not an officially supported printer. I mean, you can do whatever you want with the printer, just how much work do you want to put into it. Gidgerman says he's got Ender 3 with EasyBoard Lite, so that's our V1. He said, try to pause print in Cura. It threw an error and had to restart the print. Any advice? Well, without the error it threw, I can't really give you any advice. So if you guys are troubleshooting, this is just in general, try to document what error you guys are getting, because it just saying it threw an error tells me nothing at all. And if you're going in posting online, this is not just for our streams here, but if you guys are posting online, be detailed with what your questions are and provide information, because just being like, my printer didn't work. Okay, what is not working on it? That's a very broad statement that doesn't give the person that's trying to help you any valuable information. So let's see here. Ben Howard says, what is your favorite printer at the moment? What is your favorite print? So my favorite printer at the moment, in terms of printers you can buy right now on the market that are recent, I would say the SV06 is pretty high up there for a bang for the buck, even though I'm not a fan of them using the knockoff processors and the, what's it called? The knockoff processors and just the quality power supply. It's still a good printer for the price. It's really hard to beat. And to replace, like, the power supply is a big thing that I'm not a fan of, and that's a relatively cheap fix. So let's say you change the power supply out, you're still at around $300 for a decent printer. The extruder's been really good. I mean, Krista's been printing the crap out of that since I gave that to her after we did all the videos and stuff on it. It's been a really good printer. So if I had to go, I think the SV06 has taken over the Ender 3/3 Pro is my favorite printer. But I will put a little asterisk here. The Ender 3/3 Pro still has more ease of upgrades over the SV06, mainly because it has that ribbon cable and the hot end setup has that breakout board. I still do think it is a decent printer for the money, the SV06. So yeah. How many of you guys watching have an SV06? I'm curious. So I'm just going to see here. SV06 Plus. Well, I know Chris does. CBAT says he's got one. Let's see here. And my favorite print, in terms of a small print, I've been printing Cali Dragon. I've been printing Cali Dragon for my test prints. I do love the Flexi stuff. Like the Flexi Cats, the Flexi Rex. Those are always fun because kids love to play with them. I see Gidgerman, he said M0 not supported. That's a G-code command. So you're probably doing the wrong thing, or Kira sending the wrong stuff. I have never used M0 as a G-code command. I just looked that up. M0 is an unconditional stop, according to Marlin documentation. So M0 says M0 and M1 commands pause after the last minute and wait for the user to continue. M1 is a deprecated alias for M0. So I've actually never messed with M0. I don't think we have that disabled in the firmware, but I don't know why you'd be using that. You could also use an is it M600? Yeah, I think it's M600 is the, it'll trigger a filament change, but it'll pause the print, and then you can also reload the filament back in. But sounds like you're doing something really weird, or Kira is doing something when you hit pause. I'm assuming you're printing from USB. So, but anyways, where'd the giveaway form go? We're just going to do a giveaway on the stream. So we are about to do that in a sec here. We're not doing the forums anymore. So, all right, Leicester from above. If you guys got, I got time for like one or two more questions. You guys want to put them in? The one that's in the queue right now is from Leicester. I'm probably saying that Leicester, Lieiceester. He says, Ender 5 S1 worth the money, looking at buying a new printer, but Clipper on. Well, you're not going to be able to use the touchscreen that comes with it from Clipper, so you're either going to have to just not use it or change it out for a 12864. And I've not heard anybody say that I've never heard anybody say that the Ender 5 S1 was a good printer. I don't know. I knew one guy, Matt Farmer, had one, and he did not like it. He got rid of it. So, yeah. So I don't have any desire to pick it up. We haven't even had anybody request us to do anything with the Ender 5 S1, which tells me it's not a very popular printer. Because typically we have, people ask us, and we kind of base that off of what is the most chatty around it, in terms of, what printers we're going to buy. Because I don't know if you guys know, but a lot of these companies don't send us the printers for a review. A lot of companies will not send us printers because they don't like when we actually give them honest feedback. They get very pissed off when you tell them that the crap they're pushing is crap. I'm brutally honest. So the Chinese companies don't like that. So, all right, Gidget Man, this will be the last, or sorry, not Gidget Man. Max CJ said, have I seen the new TMZ 2240 yet? So given the model number, that's probably a different class of chips, because typically like you did the 2208, 2209. I pulled them up here. I'm looking here and seeing what they support. They've got Spread Cycle, StalGuard 2, Stealth Chop 2. They have StalGuard 4. I don't know what StalGuard 4 is. I think that's a new one. Let me see. I'm looking at the Trinamic 2209 datasheet. Oh, the 2209's got the StalGuard 4. Okay. That's the that's the Central's homing. I'm thinking of something else. I got confused there. So I'm looking at the datasheet between the two. They have, looks like there's a direct phase control feature that's on these. They have a temperature sensor, which the other one, the 2209s don't. So direct phase control and temperature sensor, those are new features. They also support single wire UART, which you can do a single wire connection on the 2209s with a resistor and IO pin. They support passive braking, so it looks like just some new features. Not I don't know direct phase control. I'd be curious to know what that is. So I guess those 2130s on the new Prusa MK4 are going to be even more outdated than they already are. Let's see. I'm trying to find out what direct phase control is. Let me see here. Because it's also on the 5240s, the Tremec 5240s. What is this phase control? Let me pull up the data sheet here. So I'll do a screen share here. Because I am interested. I'm going to see here. And now, since there's a new model number, we get to listen to everybody whine about boards having 2209s being outdated now, even though they're only a couple years old. Let's see. So we've got here. Where is this direct phase control coming in? Protection diagnosis, interrupt. We got their pinout here. Where's our data sheet? Data sheet. Let's see if it says what this direct phase control is here. What is direct phase control? I'm looking to see here. So passive braking is pretty cool. That's going to be helpful for belted Z's. I'm assuming if it's what I think it is. Because right now you have to have like an external braking board or use a geared stepper. I'm looking here. I'm curious what that direct phase control is. Detailed operations here. So here's freewheeling and passive braking. I'm just reading this here. Interesting. So it allows it to slow down. So maybe it's not what I'm thinking of. Okay. Well, that's different. I really am curious to know what that direct phase control is. Like, what does that do for printers? Is this a feature that's going to be useful for printers, or is it just something they added on for a new iteration of the drivers? Like, I want to know what it does. Let's see. Direct phase. Oh. It said direct phase control, right? Yeah, direct phase control. Is there no mention of... Maybe it's just phase control? Okay, that's weird. All right. Well, I guess I'll have to look at that later. Because it's not very obvious to me what that does. So... maybe it's a marketing term for a feature that's already in the drivers. Who knows? I sure don't. I'm not going to lie. But yeah. All right. So, Gidgerman said, I was thinking of trying TPU. I've got a TH3D PEI textured flex plate and a Margo Swiss all metal hot end. Any gotchas I should know about? TPU will try to bond to your surfaces. Use something in between it and the plate before you print, because it can bond very aggressively and it can bond basically permanently to your surfaces. So something like the Vision Miner nanopolymer is something I would recommend putting down as a release agent, because not only is the nanopolymer something that helps the prints stick to the bed, but it also helps prints release from the bed. And just make sure your Z height is not too close, because if you push TPU into a bed, it's almost as bad as PETG. So PETG is another material that likes to bond to PEI. It likes to bond to polycarbonate sheets like our Easy Mats. It also, like PETG, I haven't experienced this with TPU, but PETG will even bond to bare glass. So you want to have something between that, whether it's our plates or somebody else's. PETG and TPU are very aggressive in terms of how they bond to the surfaces they're being printed on. So make sure your Z height isn't too low. It's why I recommend, even if you have a bed level sensor, check your first layer. And if you're using our firmware, all you have to do to instantly adjust your first layer is press the menu button on your LCD twice. It'll bring up a baby stepping option, and this is even if you don't have a bed leveling sensor. It'll bring up a baby stepping option. You can rotate the knob, and it will instantaneously change the height of your nozzle. So if you're too close, you can adjust it on the fly, and that's a huge thing I think is important. So I'm looking at chat. I don't think anybody mentioned anything if they knew what that direct phase control thing was. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and do a giveaway. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer for 2 minutes here. And we're gonna go ahead and open the giveaway. So go ahead and type exclamation point good boy. Oh wait, hang on. I forgot to change the prize. Ignore that. That is wrong. That's from an old giveaway. So we're gonna do a $20 gift card for the TH3D store. I forgot it had like the prize list there. All right. There we go. So type exclamation point good boy to join. Because the doggos are good boys. And I while we're doing that, while you guys are entering that, I gotta go grab some snackies for the dogs because they ate all the snacks in here. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get them treats. Because you guys are good boys. What do we have here? What do we have here? We have pig ears. Yeah. Do we like pig ears? Can we sit? Shake. Sit. Shake. Shake. Okay, sit. You get yours. Comment. Shake. 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 Good boy. Here you go. They get the good snackies today. All right, we got 26 seconds left. I see Vika's using the Remo and the comment emoji. So I wanted to actually get your guys' opinions. We're waiting. We got a couple seconds left here on the giveaway. Since we are going to be doing, like I said, we want to have a goal of the end of the year, have a printer kit out, Core XY kit, something that's going to be able to print fast and print well. We're thinking about having kind of like a sub-brand of TH3D, and we're going to call it something like, I don't know, like Remo Labs or Remo Research or something like that. Have it like be German Shepherd thing. What do you guys think of that? I'm just curious. I think it'd be cool. And then have like, I mean, like the branding, nobody's using that kind of like branding for the printers, like kits and stuff. And then it'd be kind of cool to have like, you know, like a silhouette of a German Shepherd head or like one running, you know. I kind of like Remo Labs. And then basically that like sub brand would be, like where we do all of our cool stuff. So like printer kit, like all of our super custom type stuff. What do you guys think? And then I was joking. I was like, we could also have a cheaper, smaller, slower printer. We can call it the Comet because Comet's not as sharp as Remo. No, if we do our printer kit, we're gonna have our own frame and everything. I was thinking about doing, like I said, having the motion system be either the Mercury one or like our own derivative of the Mercury one, that kind of thing. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and see who won the giveaway. Got all the entries here. How many entries do we got? Does it tell me? There's quite a bit. It doesn't tell me, but I got it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick a winner here. And then you're going to get a $25 or I said $20 gift card to the TH3D store. And to claim that gift card, send an email to streams@th3dstudio.com with a screenshot of like your Google account matching the name. so we can confirm that it's you. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the winner, and it looks like Max CJ 12345 won the giveaway. So congratulations, Max CJ. I see Peter asking, what do you think the price point will be on our printers? We're trying to be around the $1,000 one. Now, I'm not going to be like, it's going to be $1,000. I don't know. It could be less. It could be more. That's our target price point, is in that range. So, and my target build volume is going to be Ender 3 or larger. So we'll see. I kind of would like it to be like a 300 cubed, because I feel like that's a good size. It really depends on what kind of beds we can get. I'd like to see if we can get some good quality machined aluminum beds. So, but yeah, anyways, the dogs are enjoying their pig ears. They're almost done with them. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you guys learned something. And as always, happy printing. Make sure you guys, if you want to get emailed, because we know YouTube notifications suck, in the video description, there is a link where you can put in your email and you'll be on a separate email list that is only for our YouTube videos. It's not like a marketing list. It's literally a YouTube notification list. So we only use it for that. So if you guys want to get emails, we send out an email an hour before stream to send you a reminder that we're having a stream. So go ahead and do that. And if you guys want to support us in what we do, you can go to our website at th3dstudio.com, where we sell a bunch of stuff. I'm also going to be working on the website in the next month to make things easier to find. So we do a lot of stuff. And one of the things we got feedback on it at Rocky Mountain, because we had a bunch of stuff there on the table. We brought all sorts of cool different things that we do. A lot of people didn't realize how much stuff we did. So if you guys have questions, go ahead, and we have that sales contact. We also have a live chat. We do a lot of cool stuff. So if you guys are wondering if we do something, go ahead and ask us, and we'll tell you if we do or we don't. We also typically will refer to other small businesses in the space to kind of do a referral in case there's something we don't carry, so we can at least get you to a reputable vendor. So anyways, I appreciate you guys stopping by the stream. I hope you guys learned something, and as always, happy printing. I'll see you guys on the next stream.